Oh, it's a package first anyway, isn't it?
Well, welcome back to Zurich, and Vladimir Putin expected to walk right through this entrance behind us any moment now if he wants to speak to us. We'll try and make it happen. But across many homes in England and here, the inquest into how the England team came to lose their World Cup bid so comprehensively is very much underway. The disappointment among football fans palpable. Carl Dinnen now on where this result leaves the English game.
England's football fans were united in cold disappointment today, from the banks of the Thames in London to Birmingham to Sunderland. Hard luck offered Niall Quinn. They'd thought they were so close.
We learn in football that there's only one winner normally, and so we take the defeat with dignity and we'll not cry about it, and we'll go on to our next challenge.
So where did it all go wrong? Well, some may try blaming the media. Halfway through October, the Sunday Times alleged that 2 members of the FIFA committee were prepared to sell their votes. They were eventually suspended. Then 3 days ago, Panorama alleged that 3 more FIFA committee members had taken bribes in the past. If you wanted, you could look further back. In May, the head of the England bid, Lord Treesman, resigned after allegedly saying that Spain and Russia had been plotting to bribe referees. Whatever the reasons, England's high hopes have been dashed.
Fans all over the country will be bitterly disappointed. And I think there are serious questions that have to be asked about the way football is run in our country. We didn't win in 2006. We didn't win this time. Our national team performed appallingly in the World Cup in South Africa in the summer. And what I'm asking for today is that the government and the football authorities come together and set up an independent investigation into the way that football is run in our country.
In any event, the new Wembley will have to wait quite a lot longer to play host to the kind of dreams the old Wembley is so fondly remembered for. Some think Europe may not get another World Cup until the middle of the century. A host of other venues will also lose out. England's bid had 17 possible stadia, 5 completely new in 12 different cities. The obvious venues in London, Manchester, Liverpool and Birmingham were to be joined by Leeds, Newcastle, Nottingham, Sheffield and Sunderland. But in the less obvious venues of Bristol, Milton Keynes and Plymouth, major redevelopments were planned. These will not now be happening on anything like the scale that there would have been had they been chosen to host the World Cup.
Well, it would certainly be a disappointment to those clubs, but it was never clear that they would be able to sustain the level of support after a World Cup that would fill a World Cup-sized stadium. So in many ways, they may have been saved from themselves.
But that's a bit of a thin silver lining, and there aren't many English football fans who'll be feeling grateful to FIFA for it this evening.
Carl Dinnen reporting there. Well, our sports reporter Kemi Zeram is with me here in Zurich. Kemi, obviously, tonight, the England team aren't talking about it, but it's kind of 30-foot pink elephant in the room, namely all the allegations surrounding alleged corruption amongst the FIFA, or some members of the FIFA delegation.
Indeed, well, the elephant's kind of out of the room, if you like. The big concern always was that the FIFA committee who vote on where the World Cup is going to go, they're a band of brothers, 22 men who are friends, they work together, they know each other very well. So if you make an allegation against one of them, they may well choose to protect their friends and vote accordingly. Now, we are led to believe that they did talk about the allegations made by some sections of the media. So the concern is, well, did they do as was feared and vote accordingly? And interestingly, there are calls for the manner in which FIFA makes these decisions to change. And if you look back at, for example, the IOC, when there have been allegations, in their case proven, of corruption, they were forced to change.
Well, now, close up, looking and talking to Gary Lineker, Alan Shearer tonight, I got a real sense they couldn't give it away, but real fury.
Well, indeed, and Andy Anson, the chief executive of the bid, said that he felt let down. Now, make of that what you will, but they clearly put an awful lot of time and money and investment into this. £15 million ultimately for one single vote, and they must be asking was it really worth it in the end?
Yes, an expensive vote. Well, let's move on to the World Cup after that, and coming up in Qatar, pretty much an outsider. We're going to have, they tell us, air-conditioned stadia in the middle of the in the desert. Not exactly a sustainable bid, but it has to be said, a winning bid.
Indeed, and well, what is sustainability? Their pitch was bring it to a new place, and also the legacy of our bid will take those stadiums to places that really need them. Countries in Africa, for example. And it's interesting, the response of the crowd in the room when Qatar were announced as the winners was really quite loud. People jumped up and cheered. There wasn't a lot of surprise in the end that Russia won. They were always the favourites, but Qatar a different story. They've got a lot of big support in as well. They apparently paid Zinedine Zidane, the former World Footballer of the Year, £15 million to be their emissary.
And he didn't headbutt anybody. Kemi, we'll have to leave it there. For now, we're still awaiting Vladimir Putin here, but for now, back to you in London.
Alex Thompson and Kemi Nzerim in Zurich.